In 2001, the author Jim Collins of this book, Good to Great, sat down with Jeff Bezos, the Amazon.com founder, and he explained the flywheel concept. 2001, and as the years progressed, Amazon went from a good company to a gigantically successful company. The rest is history. So in this book, Jim Collins breaks down what takes a company from good to great. And in this video, I'm gonna share the 4 major concepts that you can copy and implement in your business today. By the way, make sure to stick to the end of the video where I give exclusive access on my upcoming business book. So who is this Jim Collins guy, and why should any of us even care about him? So number 1, Stanford professor, kind of cool. Number 2, what's really interesting is he went to Boulder, Colorado in 1995 and just started deep researching how are companies built to last, that's his previous book title, as well go from good to great. And they did a lot of research to figure this out so that we and you can just use that information. So the 4 major concepts from this book, number 1 is flywheel, number 2 is people, number 3 is the Hedgehog Concept, and number 4 is leadership. Let's dive into the flywheel concept. This is literally the basis of how Amazon has become a $1 trillion company. So the growth of Amazon and the size of it is through adding a lower cost structure. And the lower cost structure then led to lower prices of books, which led to a better customer experience. Now those better customers that are more happy with the lower prices led to more traffic and more customers, which then led to more sellers, because these sellers are like, oh, there's customers and traffic there, that's what I want. And the more sellers created more selection of products on Amazon. And that more selection led to a better customer experience for customers, which led to more traffic to more sellers. So the idea of a flywheel, think of it as something we're turning. And it's a little bit hard to get going. Maybe it's like a train. But once that flywheel starts turning, it starts spinning bigger and faster and bigger. So let's take AppSumo.com. It's the #1 site online for software deals. And we're like, how do we make a flywheel so that the business can grow exponentially? So we're gonna go out and put more products on our marketplace, hopefully something that you've created. And more products leads to more potential customers able to buy from AppSumo. Now more potential customers leads to more people actually buying. Nice. And more people buying creates more traffic, just like Amazon. And if there's more traffic, guess what's gonna happen? People like you and other people creating software and tools and books for entrepreneurs are gonna come on AppSumo Marketplace and add your products. And as more products get added, what happens? It expands the pie of potential customers, which then means more customers, which means more traffic, which means more people add on AppSumo. So another way of simplifying the flywheel concept just for yourself is, how is it that your business overnight can keep getting bigger and bigger? So this can potentially apply to consulting businesses, SaaS businesses, and other types of business. And the really thing you need to plant the seed and really think about for yourself is, how is it that I can unlock and open my business so around the clock, the more people that are adding products to my site, the bigger that my business gets? Number 2 is people. And because of this book recently, I changed the video editors for our YouTube channel. In the book, Jim says you should treat your business like a professional sports team. And over the past 11 years at AppSumo, I'd always say, oh, we treat our people like a family. But I've never fired my mom. I don't think so. And so for you, really think about, this is a professional sports team, so I have to have the right players on the team. Another key thing that Jim talks about is you need to have the right people on the bus and the wrong people off the bus. And then you can figure out where you want to be driving it. I know for me is that when you've done that and you have the right people there, you don't have to manage them, you don't have to motivate them. That goes away because you have the right people with you. So 2 key questions that you can use to figure out, do you have the right people in the right places are, number 1, would you hire this person again? It's pretty straightforward, would you? And think about every single person on your team. And secondly, this is a question also Netflix uses, is if the person came to you and said, hey, I'm gonna be quitting, or I'm gonna go work for a competitor, how much would you be fighting for that person, or would you be excited for them to go? So 3 major principles when you are doing your hiring, whether you're starting a business and you're practicing it with freelancers, or whether you're building out and developing a larger team, is number 1, when in doubt, don't hire, keep looking. An example of this is when I hired my first assistant, Sarah. She was dealing poker for us, and I was like, hey, could you do some errands and assistant stuff? I didn't do a full process, actually having forms and interviews and seeing if they'd actually be the most qualified. And she ended up doing a really bad job. And so when you rush into those positions and you just hire someone because you need someone, you end up selling yourself short. So if it doesn't feel right in hiring them, or you're not doing the regular process, it isn't right. Don't cheat it. So next up, when you need to make a people change, act. So for this YouTube channel, I love the person who's doing our video editing, but time and time again, it wasn't doing the right types of videos that I was excited to share with all of you sexy people. I was like, yo, we need to make the change. We made the change 2 weeks ago, and now this video is edited by some of the newer people that we're trying out. So when you know that someone's not in the right place, you need to let them move on to something else, and you need to move on with your own business. So number 3, put your best people on your biggest opportunities, not your biggest problems. So at AppSumo.com, we're launching AppSumo Marketplace, where if you have a tool or book or knowledge for entrepreneurs, you should definitely go to AppSumo.com and submit it. And so we've put our best people and all of our resources and money and people onto AppSumo and the AppSumo.com marketplace. The main takeaway from people is fill your culture with self-disciplined people who will go to extreme lengths to fulfill their responsibilities. It sounds fancy, but basically hire amazing people who are hardcore and get shit done. So number 3 is the Hedgehog Concept. And this is to figure out what your company should actually work on. And then in the middle is the things that your company should be doing. So number 1 is, what can your company be the best in the world at? At AppSumo.com, I think we are the best in the world at promoting amazing deals on software for entrepreneurs just like yourself. That's what we're amazing at. So you need to find the competency that you or your company can be the best in the world at. And just because something's been core to your business and you've been doing it for years, doesn't mean that you're gonna be the best in it. Figure out games that you can actually win. The second box is a really interesting thing. He calls what drives your economic engine. And that sounds like fancy talk, but really it means is what is your key metric or ratio that you're trying to be improving. So if you could pick only one metric or one ratio to systematically or continually improve over time, what would it be for your business? Let me give you a few examples to plant the seed here. So it could be profit per mortgage if you're a mortgage company. It could be per local population. It could be per customer. So at AppSumo, our historical thing has been revenue per partner. A great way to think about your economic engine is how do you have a metric that the more it goes up, it's greater for your customers and it's greater for yourself. Number 3, the third circle, is what are you deeply passionate about? What am I doing right now? I'm promoting a book or telling you about it. That's exactly what we do at AppSumo.com. I love promoting amazing things. So if you take some of the most gigantic companies in the world, they got great at just really one thing. Google is great at making money on ads. Facebook is amazing at communication. Microsoft, they still make almost all their money from Office and Windows. What are you best in the world at? What is your economic engine? And what are you deeply passionate about? And in that middle is where you're gonna be playing and winning. So here's a few practical takeaways from the Hedgehog Concept that I want you to be thinking about. Number 1, this is what you hear from Bill Gates, you hear from Warren Buffett, is you gotta say no to all the things that don't live within that middle diagram. And you've gotta be thinking, am I focusing? So one of the things for our YouTube channel is like growing our subscriber base. We want more people enjoying this content. And so if it is not helping us do that, we say no. What is it the things that you're saying no to? Another thing with the Hedgehog Concept is that in that middle space that you're gonna be playing in, what are the future projects you're gonna be doing? And what Jim recommends that I love and we're copying is keep a rank ordered list of all of your future ideas. I notice for myself, I get really excited and I go rush in and I just do the first thing I'm thinking. But what Jim talks about is take a step back, see what thing is actually within your wheelhouse, and then slowly experiment with them as long-term investments. So this is a section I was actually a little bit uncertain of sharing, but it's leadership. So I don't know what you think of as a leader. Maybe we have some pictures here of what you imagine as a leader. It's a man, they're loud, they're brash. What Jim's team actually found out, which was super counterintuitive, is that most of the level 5 leaders, that's a made-up term they use, are actually quiet, they're shy, they're deliberate, and they're humble. I don't know if that's who you think about as when you think of a successful male or female leader, but I love that Jim highlighted this point in leadership. So how to actually become a level 5 leader for yourself or me and for everyone else out there. Number 1, they give credit to others. Is your boss taking the credit or are they giving you the credit? Number 2, they're very, very modest and humble. I know Eamon and AppSumo for how successful he's been able to run our business. He doesn't brag, he doesn't say, give me a Ferrari. Next up, in times of failure, they take all the blame. And lastly, they plan their succession. And a lot of the companies that Jim said that weren't able to go from good to great, they actually just were they were the superstars, and after they failed, the company failed with them. So something to think about level 5 leaders and things like this, which I always find ironic, is that everyone thinks they have these traits. They do plan their succession, they are humble, they're giving credit, they take all the failure, but really next time something's going bad or something goes great in your company, notice how you're actually responding. I notice I'm gonna do it for myself. By the way, if you are into reading and you like starting a business or growing a business, I am working on a book for people just like you. Email book@okdork.com and I'll add you to our beta list because I'd love for you to be a part of the journey. Let me recap some of the things that we've talked about in this book so that you can copy it and do it for yourself. Number 1, the flywheel. So think about how your business can grow around the clock while you're sleeping. Number 2 is people. At the end of the day, if you can pick the right people in your business, then figuring out what to drive is a lot easier. Number 3 is the Hedgehog Concept. And at the end of the day, it's what are you gonna be great at? What do you like doing? And how do you make money doing it? And then you just live in that little world. And that's how you create a very, very large company. And the 4th part is leadership. At the end of the day, if you wanna be a leader, you just gotta lead and do it humbly. If you wanna hear more actionable takeaways on one of my other favorite business books that took AppSumo from a $4 million company all the way up to a $30 million company in revenue, check out this video up here. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss another video like this, as well as our exclusive office hours for subscribers. I love you and I'll see you out there. Pew, pew.